Hello, I'm Josh and this is Bacon Lodge Adventures. Today we're in Franklin, Texas. We're going to be working on an irrigation system out here at my sister's lake house. I had to put a new seawall in. They tore up the irrigation all along the front down here. We're going to walk down here and kind of see what's going on. Welcome to Bacon's Lodge, where I will build many things, fix even more, and try to make it an adventure along the way. Okay, so walking down to the lakeside here, they got a nice little boathouse or house, and they got an awesome pier and landing underneath the pavilion kind of thing out there. But you can see what they tore up. All this down here used to be all seeded over there, and then they built out. So they upgraded quite a bit. It used to be like a 2x4 material, and they built it out so that you can see here, it's like a looks like a 2x8 on top, and then let's see if I can see it. And then there's posts, and then it's a 2x wall or a 2x something wall like on the edge here. They didn't have this like nice point out here before. So when they did that, they had to cut all of our irrigation coming from it pumps out of this lake here, and we had it coming off the side of the boathouse there and through. You see some pipes over there. That's actually the electrical wire. They have a 100 amp service in this shed, boathouse, whatever you want to call it. So it runs everything else. And we have to figure out what they tore up between here and all the way down there. There's an irrigation zone that runs the length of this and then around the side over there. What I'm going to try to show you today is how we troubleshoot and diagnose what's wrong with a system like this. When we're from in Wisconsin, usually we don't have lake stuff like this. It's usually swimming pools. But when it's a big repair like this, you have to start, first of all, we're going to have to hook up the main back up, which the main is right there. We're going to connect it right back through. Then we need to figure out what's broken out in the field. From there, there's the lateral lines, so we have to see what's tore through. So I'm going to kind of show you how we troubleshoot this, and then we'll show you how we fix it and figure it all out, and hopefully get this all done in a day or two. So the first thing we got is Jeff here is he's going to reconnect the main into it. So they cut this 1.25" poly when they put the new seawall in. And actually what they did is they built this out about 3 feet, so it's all new shoreline. Built out this, the previous shoreline was back about 2 or 3 feet. Jeff put 6 hot on there, and he just slams the coupler in there. Then you wiggle the other side on. You'll see that you can see right there, there's barely any of the gray showing. And you put 3 hot on each side. Then you use a specialty tool called a crimper. It kind of looks like an end cutting pliers, and they clamp the ears of the hot on there. When you do that, you don't do them in a single line, you stagger them across so that the stress is even across the entire pipe. We only use 3 hot on main lines like this where they're higher pressure. On laterals where they're downline, you can use as little as 1. Just kind of depending on what you feel it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of pressure on this one because of what it is. That's why he puts 3. And see there's an extra one there? That's just in case you fuck up. And actually what Jeff's going to do is he's going to use that extra hot for the one that's screwed up out there. Bet you he didn't know he was going to do that, but...
No, he did actually.
Okay. Well, I didn't know he was going to do that. If you ever cut off these hot and you're in a hole, make sure you figure out where they are, because they become little razors and they'll cut the hell out of your hand. You can see it there. That the ends of them, when they cut, they become little razors. So he's got the job of trying to hold himself up and work above the water without falling in, because falling in sucks. So we're going to watch him do that for a minute here. Okay. And I'm going to turn on the water, and then we're just going to basically see where it bubbles up out of the ground to see what's broken. So we got our controller here. It's a Hydro-Wise controller, and we're just going to click run. The water's going to be coming through that pipe we just reconnected, and it's broken right on the other side of the seawall. I'm going to turn this off, and now we have to dig up this pool here, because it shouldn't have been right there, because that just means they ran it just through the seawall. But he said this is going to be troubleshooting and repair, not just repair. So we've been out here for an hour or so trying to figure out what it is. So the predicament we have is our pump comes out of the lake there, and they had put this pipe nicely through the shoreline into the ground here. So we figured, okay, cool, it's just the one break. We found the end of it right in that hole there. Just cut off clean. None of the wires, they ripped out all of our wires and everything. To find the other side of this pipe, which I was kind of hope that was kind of be in this area here, I'm going to show you what I did. So we know where the main was, not so much here, but all the way up inside the fence there, we know where one of the valve boxes is. Tapped into the main up there and connected a garden hose to it so we could backfeed water through the main so it could show us where the other side of this cut is, which is in this hole right here. Show you how far apart away it is. It's probably about 40-ish feet. So that's the end of the pipe. You can kind of see it there where the water's like, that's where it's kind of looking weird. And it's supposed to be connected up over to there. At first, before you start hooking up other pipes and cutting pipes to do that, what you usually try to do, I'm going to try to explain how you troubleshoot this, is we know the pipe was supposed to cross this area here. So we dug a trench. There's a water line that used to be connected up there, and we know that we crossed that pipe above it. So we dug down here in this trench, and we dug a lateral trench out as far as we thought it could be, and found that pipe to make sure, because it should have gone above that pipe. When we didn't find it in this trench, that's when we decided to cut into other pipes over there. I want to show you how to troubleshoot this because that's the hardest thing about fixing irrigation. When somebody comes through and just rips the crap out of everything, and you can't even see the ends of the pipes. If you can see the end of the pipes, it's really easy. You're just connecting pipe to pipe. But they always bury it. And we still have a problem here is that we found the end of the main, but the wire isn't with it. The wire was with it when we installed it. So we have an issue. We have to figure out how much of the wire they pulled out. Like if they leave the stuff behind that they had, we can stretch out the broken wire and be like, oh, it's right about this area. They took it. They left us about 3 feet of it over here with one valve. We're missing like a couple other valves. So it's going to be a little bit bigger of a project than I was hoping it was going to be. So the first thing we're going to do, you just heard Jeff drop the big roll of 1.25 inch, is we're going to connect up the pipe that we found to the pump so that we can make sure that the rest of the stuff works. We'll have to do it manually out of the valve boxes, and we're actually still missing a valve box, so we got to dig one of those up to find it as well, which will kind of, it's going to be a pain. If you have the controller connected to it, it's easier to find, but we have an idea of where it is. We just haven't been out here for 2.5 years, so it's going to be a little bit harder. Okay, so we're back out here, connected up the main from the pump right here. We ran it over to where we found the end of the pipe. I pressurized the pump then, and then ran one of the zones manually up there because we don't have a wire connecting from the controller to the valves. And what we're doing right now is the wire has to go through conduit here because they have nutria rats, and they eat through it. It's going to run a brand new wire all the way from where we found hopefully the end of it by that main wire, all the way into controllers. And then we'll kind of let you know the next step of what it is. Run the new wire is not that hard. We're basically just going to be snaking a wire through that conduit there into the controller. Okay, so we're out here at the pipe that goes to the field, and we're trying to reconnect the wires. We're not trying, we are reconnecting the wires. And what we're using are these wire clips. They're called Blazing Saddle wire clips. What you do is you take, not moving, you take one of each wire, and you just put it in both sides like that. Make sure they're buttered all the way up against the top, and then you just squeeze it down. It cuts the wire and has grease around it, so it seals it off so that it's waterproof. We usually try to bury them inside of a valve box, so we'll probably have to get a small valve box to put out here, just in case if there's ever a problem with them, we can find them in the future. But that's how you do a wire splice. You just basically are connecting colors to colors. These are 13 wires. So Jeff sees colors, I don't. He's going through and just connecting each red to red, yellow to yellow, so on and so forth. I think we got everything done. So I'm going to kind of show you what we had to do. So there's the boathouse, and we hooked up the main there to the other hole over there, and then we tested everything. We found that this entire zone on the shore, I guess, now it's an embankment, I don't know what to call it, is gone, completely gone. So as you can see, we hand dug the entire thing. We had to hand dig over to where the main was connected. We hand dug it all the way over to here. We're going to put a new valve box in here, and from here we had to dig over to here, which isn't that far, where the main for this side was cut off. So it's probably 150, 175 foot trench that we had to dig in this mucky, wet, sandy clay that was just not really fun. It took us about, what, 2.5 hours, you say? Yeah. 2 hours, 2.5 hours to dig. We're also out of shape. Yeah, it's also the first, we're out of shape, but this is the first real service call we've done this year. We've been not working for a while because it's been winter up in Wisconsin, so down here in Texas, they probably could have still used it. I'm going to show you what we did. I'll flip around the canter, I'm going to walk it and kind of show you the pipes that we ran and stuff like that. Well, good morning. Back out here, we're going to finish this up today. So I got up about 7 o'clock this morning and I buried that trench that I showed you we dug yesterday. I didn't show you any of that stuff because I can show you how to dig a trench some other time. So we ran all the wires into the controller. Another video I can show you again is how to wire up a valve tree and a controller. This is kind of more of a how we troubleshot the repairs and how we repaired them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of just walk down the line, show you that we got it all buried up, and then we'll fire them up, get them adjusted, and show you them all working. Okay, so here's the zone that we had to dig back in. You can see the foreheads that we installed running, and what it does is it goes along the shore here and it covers the entire area really nice. You can see the entire area that was tore up from where the grass is to where it's not, because they had to come through and feather it all out. They basically added about 3 feet to the shoreline here. The shoreline was about 3 feet back, and they squared it up real nice, so it looks real nice now. Jeff's going to go over there and adjust these up so they're all nice and not spraying the lake too much and spraying the right way, and we'll go through a couple different areas, and that'll be it for the day. That was the repair all completed. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you like anything about this and you want any further review of it, please let me know and I'll make a video on that. Once again, thank you for watching. May God bless you and you have a great day.